Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. So we're going to do the week ahead in astrology, and that is the week from today, April 18th, which is Sunday, to the 24th, which is Saturday. And we do have quite an interesting week. We have some shifting energies this week, and of course, we end the week with that very exciting conjunction between Venus and Uranus. But we will get there. Let's look at this step by step. The first day, which is actually today, I spoke about it this morning. We have two major aspects today. One is in conjunct between Mars and Pluto, and one is a conjunction of the Sun and Mercury. So let's take a look at those right now. And just 1 minute here, I have to share my screen. I got ahead of myself. It happens. Okay. All right. So if we look, let's just make this bigger. Make this a slideshow. There we go. It's better. Okay, today is the 18th Sunday. We have Mars in conjunct Pluto. Mars is at 27 degrees of Gemini. And of course, Pluto is at 27 degrees of Capricorn. We need to take into consideration that Pluto is sitting as close as it I think as it will in 2021 to its natal Pluto, to its natal Pluto. So in 2022 and 2023, I believe, might go into 2023, the United States has their Pluto return. And this is as close as we get to it before it backs off. Of course, that being said, when we're dealing with Pluto, you're 10 degrees out, sometimes 15 degrees out, and you can start to feel it. And something as profound as a Pluto in a Pluto return for a country, especially a country that has the biggest economy, right, in the world. That's significant. That's significant. So anyway, this in conjunct between Mars and Pluto is a gibbous phase in conjunct, meaning it has the energy of Virgo. And so Mars is our conscious desires. Pluto is our unconscious desires. We might find that our personal egocentric conscious desires are being foiled in some way. And that is because the foiling of that has to do with making the adjustments necessary, making the mental adjustments necessary for you to kind of, put your energy out there in a more cooperative manner, which is kind of what we need. We need that cooperation from one another if we're expecting to really have any kind of power and then say in our own power, I think. And then we have the conjunction between Mercury and the Sun, and it is a superior conjunction. What does that mean? Well, the Sun and Mercury get together a few times a year, when it is direct, when it is retrograde, right? So we have that experience. A superior conjunction means Mercury is direct. And in reality, if we look at it, it's as if we have a conjunction to Mercury, but as we stand on the earth and we look at the sun, so we're on the earth looking at the sun, okay? And when Mercury is retrograde, it's closer to the earth. And so when we're looking at a conjunction between the sun and Mercury, when Mercury is retrograde, this is called an inferior conjunction, So it is a conjunction, but because Mercury is closer to us, we have to be more introspective, listening to that still voice within. It's very internal time. Anybody who has a natal Mercury retrograde knows what that internal time feels like. In fact, if you have a natal Mercury retrograde, it's when Mercury retrograde is when you feel like you're moving forward in the world. And I have a Mercury retrograde, so I can attest to that. And so a lot of times when you have a natal Mercury retrograde, you spend a lot of time in your own thoughts, pondering. And then boom, Mercury goes retrograde. Everybody's like, what? And you're like, ta-da! It can work that way. Not always. Even, sometimes even people with Mercury retrogrades have a difficult Mercury retrograde. It kind of depends on, in a way, what sign it's in, and how it affects your chart, your personal chart. Anyway, so that's the inferior. When you're looking at, so you're on the earth and you're looking at the sun and Mercury's on this side of the sun, it's actually a superior conjunction. So it's this. So inferior, superior. And both times it's conjunct. Only when it's retrograde, Mercury is closer. And when it's not, it's in that superior conjunction, it almost acts like an opposition. So one of the things that this conjunction, and because, Mercury and the sun never have an opposition because of the way this, we have the sun and Mercury. Mercury can't be, I think it's 20, it can't be more than 28 degrees away from the sun. So it's never going to be because an opposition is 180 degrees. So this is as close as we get to an opposition, and perhaps as close as we get to some perspective when it comes to the sun and Mercury. So this is at 20 degrees of Aries. It says a duck pond and its brood. Did I say 20 at 30 degrees of Aries? I might have said that. The realization of natural boundaries. As a note, as a point of reference, the symbol before this, 29 degrees of Aries, is the music of the spheres. It's a little bunny just went past my window. So cute. I literally got distracted by a bunny, like a real bunny. Not a metaphorical bunny, ADD bunny, but a real one. Okay. So we have this grand, picture of the music of the spheres and the way the universe works and rotating on its axis, very grand. Then the next one is the duck pond, and so it talks about the grandness and then the smallness. So it says what is shown here is that every form of activity has its limits, and even the consciousness that has been able to get a glimpse of universal order, the music of the spheres, has to bring down its own karmic field of operation, the message of harmony it has heard inwardly. Peace and inner contentment with one's essential destiny, dharma, is required to meet the everyday world. The mystic may experience flights of imagination, of transcendent vision, but he must return to the concrete earth and to his task in his social environment. Extensive as the latter may be, it seems very small compared to the galactic field. It is indeed a duck pond compared to the ocean, but it is there that the substance for concrete action has been found, and every effective activity has to be focused. Thus, the boundaries imposed by the very nature of this activity have to be consciously accepted. So we've had many sort of transcendent experience of late, at least I have, and a lot of big vision, but we still have to do what we do, and we have to take that vision and somehow apply it to our own duck pond, right? Our own field of influence, as it were, as it was, and doing your dharma, doing your work, and doing what you love and loving what you do. This is the conjunction. This is what the conjunction speaks of at this 30 degrees of Aries. So that's pretty, I think that's pretty nifty, as they say. Okay, so that is that's was today. No. Yes, that was, sorry. Gosh, that was today. Well, and today's the 18th. So then on Monday, the 19th, the moon is in Cancer all day, which the moon likes being in, mind you. Mercury actually moves into the sign of Taurus. We just had, was it Venus moved into Taurus, right? And now Mercury moves into Taurus, and then right after that, actually, the sun on the same day moves into Taurus. And we can see here, what I have here is the ingress of both Mercury and the sun into Taurus. We have, let's see, here we go. Mercury is right here. If you look at this chart on the left, there's Mercury moving into Taurus. Oh no, that's the sun moving into Taurus. Sorry, here's Mercury. Let's say, wait, what? That's not zero. Where are we? Mercury, here we go. Mercury moves into Taurus. And we can see the sun is still at that last degree of Aries. And it's a little bit later that the sun moves into Taurus. And of course, the sun and Mercury are in this conjunction, right? They're still in the conjunction. In this, interestingly, they sort of moved into that 1 degree of Taurus as well together. Weren't exactly together, but they're sort of sitting together in that 1st degree of Taurus. Interesting, very interesting. And so we have to include that the duck pond vision with the 1st degree of Taurus, which is, I think, a clear mountain stream. And the energy of that is be your nature, be your nature. But I will just make sure, double check here. I'm pretty sure be your nature may not be what they say. A clear mountain stream, the pure, uncontaminated, and spontaneous manifestation of one's own nature. So this is be yourself. Do what you love what you do, and be yourself. That's it. You're like, what? That's all I got to do? Maybe that's all we ever had to do, right? Be ourselves. Be purely who we are. Who are we? We're spirit. Who are we? We're earth. We're both. We're a bridge between heaven and earth. That is man. Man is the bridge between heaven and earth. And so we can bring heaven to earth. When heaven is earth and earth is heaven. Too philosophical perhaps for this moment, but interesting. Monday the 19th actually vibrates to a 2911 vibration. And so the day that both Mercury and the sun go into Taurus, and the 2911 is in Bino, which is about the light. It's about the light, but it's a light that you need to move through the darkness to find. It's the inner light. It's the inner light. And in esoteric astrology, Alice Bailey calls Taurus, is it the light? Hold on one second. I want to find that because I think it's important. Okay, so one second here. Okay, so it says a specific type of light is found in every sign. In Taurus, it is a beam of light received from the divine ideas emanating from Aries, bringing illumination, which results in needed changes in attitudes and values, and an uplifting of consciousness. And the word said, let struggle be undismayed. I see when the eye is opened, all is illumined. So the eye that they talk about, of course, is the third eye. Is the third eye. And Taurus is an earth sign, and so it is feminine. It is feminine. So this is a powerful time for the feminine. After I think, equally powerful time for the masculine. I think that the sun in Aries and this Aries energy I think the masculine has made its voice heard. Not, the wounded, I should say the wounded masculine, the wounded masculine. I am afraid. I am so afraid. I am willing to kill you. I'm so afraid of change, or I'm so afraid of my own darkness, or I'm so afraid of whatever they're afraid of. They're afraid, and we need to be, to a certain extent, compassionate, and then to maybe a greater extent, careful around these people, right? But I think that I think now, with the energy moving into Taurus, that there's going to be more of a sense of a different kind of, perhaps, expression, a different kind of strength that comes out. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm right. Certainly hope so. But that 2911 vibration, located on the tree of life in Bina, and the word light vibrates to a 2911. And so that even more brings out the theme of light when it comes to this time, and the divine spark going into the earth, going into Taurus, into the Taurus. Looks like, looks like a bull, but it also looks like a uterus where the baby grows, right? So now it's growing in the darkness. And so it does take quite a bit of faith for us to be able to focus and nurture. There's faith in nurturing something that you can't actually see. You can't see the root under the ground germinating. You can't see it spreading out its little rootlets and getting the nutrients that it needs to get that energy and push up through the earth. You can't see that, right? But it's there, and that's part of the Taurus energy, that faith. And that's why I think a lot of with Uranus and Taurus, a lot of people's faith have been shaken, shook. Sorry, I should know that. Oh, Sister Alice would be appalled. Excuse me. A little parched. Okay. All right, so let's look at that. So let's look at the Sabian symbol for one, because we have, I said, Mercury and Mercury and the Sun, right? 29, and then they were close together for 30. So they're sort of together in this, so you can feel that. But then we have, of course, the Sun, and then Mercury, and then the Sun, right? Go into this first degree, and here we go. Pure, uncontaminated, and spontaneous manifestation of one's own nature. It says here we see life substance in its original dynamic form as it emerged from its spiritual source. It is true, whatever the nature of the source may be. This is true, whatever the nature of the source may be. In a sense, the mountain stream is conditioned by the nature of the soil and by the forces which have in past formed the mountain's rock strata, that is to say, by past history. Yet out of this past, a new, pure, unadulterated release of potentiality has emerged. It is ready to perform whatever works its dharma is to accomplish. Matter still imbued with great potential energy being matter at its source. It is flowing irresistibly towards its own destiny. It is simply its own nature. So there's the seeds that you have planted is the fruit that you will eat. So if you have planted seeds of love, then you will be loved. If you have planted the seeds of fear, then perhaps you will have things to fear. But we can continuously plan. We don't have to just say, oh, I planted fear. Now what am I going to do? I got to deal with that. No, 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 no. You can amend the soil. You can plant some other things, maybe a few more of things that symbolize hope for you and or love, and let love overcome fear. Anyway, with Venus, with the sun and Mercury moving into the first degree of Taurus, we look to see where Venus is. And I believe in both charts, Venus is at 7 degrees of Taurus, the woman of Samaria at the ancestral well. There was a lot of, I'm trying to remember, there was something that this Sabian symbol is relatively familiar to me. I mean, I've heard it many times, but I've repeated it a number of times, and I think it might have been from the end of last year, where this was very significant. This symbol, this woman of Samaria, the fact that she was that Jesus met her at the well, and that she was sort of an outcast in her own tribe, speaks of the fact that very often the outcasts are the ones that have the perspective of what needs to be seen, and I think and heard, right? I think that these right-wing people, the Proud Boys and all these guys, they're getting an awful lot of press, and I guess we need to know about it. So it's important in that respect. But it's becoming more of a fantastic, like, oh, this one, that one, what do they think? And I think we need to balance it with the other side of the coin, right? The other side of the coin, the outcasts who believe that, love is the answer. A lot of people love, right? And they love to be in love, but they're pragmatic. And then there are the dreamers who are not all that pragmatic and dream great dreams of love, and they need to be heard too. So I think that's what I'm trying to say, and I think that that's true. I think that'll be true when the sun moves into Gemini. I really feel, maybe for the first time in my own life, where I felt so connected to the astrological wheel at this time. And I think part of it is that there's a lot of interest, and there's a lot of really good people doing good astrology online. And I don't mean just like, oh, your sun is in Cancer and so you're sensitive. Not that, like that too, but the good stuff, the good people, and they're all good. The more maybe scholarly people, I would say, instead of like, what do people want to consume, right? But everybody has their place, and everybody has where they need to be. Again, love what you do, be who you are. Oh, goodness gracious, what a thought. So yeah, so there's this energy of that we the outsiders have to be heard too, on I guess maybe on the left side of things, the anti-fascist fascial. Can you tell MacGyver Badger? Oh gosh, that stuff never leaves you, does it? So that's what day is that? Monday? That's Monday. This is going slower than I thought. I thought I was going to breeze through this, but I get inspired to say stuff, so I say it. So Tuesday, the moon shifts into Leo at 2:12, looks like a.m. here. We do have shortly thereafter, the sun and the moon make their first quarter crisis in consciousness square. This is the first square of this lunation cycle that began with that very powerful new moon in Aries, conjunct Eris, conjunct Venus, more of that feminine power expressing itself now with the sun and Mercury in the feminine sign of Taurus, We're going to hear more women's voices. We're going to hear women's voices, and we need to hear women's voices. And hopefully, the people who decide what we hear realize that. But I think they do. I think they do. I mean, they don't, they work within their confines of who's paying their bills. But I think they do have they trend towards, well, the truth. At least one side does anyway. Anyway, that's another story. So we have this first quarter square, so we're going to feel the need to take an action. And Taurus and Leo are they're fixed. And so there can be, you need to take an action, but you could be a little bit too like this, saying that that's the only action. I must take that action today. Be a little stubborn. We have time. We have time to take actions. We need to pace ourselves. Taurus is about pacing ourselves. So just pace yourself with that stuff. All right, that was my dinner bell, but I can wait a little bit. All right. The other thing that's happening on that day is actually Jupiter. This is interesting. Jupiter and Pluto are making a semi-sextile. A sextile stimulates communication. And it's a 60-degree angle. A semi-sextile is half of that, and that's a 30-degree angle. And so every sign is semi-sextile, every other sign. So there's this energy of it's its own thing, but then it realizes it has to sort of change and, morph into the next sign, right? Otherwise, we would never go around the wheel. And Pluto and Jupiter have been in a cycle, and I'm trying to think. It's a 13-year cycle. Oh, no. So it's a 13-year cycle that began last year. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. So it began last year, and that's when we had the 3 conjunctions of Jupiter and Pluto. And conjunctions are this energy of going out, spreading like this like experience, and it's Aries. It's like something is spreading, right? Well, unfortunately for us, every time we had a conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter, we had a spike in the COVID cases, right? So we've had 3. I think we've had 3 peaks, right? I think we're in the middle of one right now, and I think that this semi-sextile, because now the energy, that 30 degrees from the Aries point of the conjunction, right, is Taurus. And things start to get the ground underneath our feet with this. And so we're going to have firmer, I think, scientific grounds in order to move forward. With whatever that means. It's like science helps us to ground all the experiences that we've had over the last year. And I think that there's something that, and I don't know anything about it, so I'm just going to say what I think it is. It's not just a matter of getting an antibody or doing whatever it is that they're doing with the RNA. But it's also tracking like all the information points from this, and then sort of creatively in other ways try to manipulate our ability to heal from it, right? Or not, right? So we have to be very we have to be our best advocates. So we have to trust the science. But we can't have blind trust or blind faith in the science either. We need to be able to balance the mental stuff with the intuitive stuff in such a way that you're not just well, I mean, I guess not everybody's not everybody's particularly intuitive. Some people more than others. So I guess there's a range there. Okay. But I do feel, and I don't know if I was clear with this, I do feel as though things are going to slow down now. That things are gonna start to slow. It'll take a while, but things are starting to slow down. Okay, so all right, so the 19th, this is Monday. Oh, this is the sun and moon. There's the moon at 1 degree, I mean the sun at 1 degree of Taurus and the moon at 1 degree of Leo. Crisis in action of the new moon in Aries. So I said this. The sun is 1 degree of Taurus, square the moon at 1 degree of Leo. This is like plant a seed, man. Boom, boom, right? Like that. Fixed. Right? A lot of energy with this. And the saving symbol being a clear mountain stream. Square, the blood rushes to a man's head as his vital energies are mobilized under the spur of ambition. And so this is interesting because it is this, it's such a different energy. One is like, let's just be, let's be who we are, let's be true to our nature. And the other one's like, I must live up to something, my ambition. What is that? That's a judgment, right? That's a judgment. Live up to my judgment. So, all right. So then I want to be, so Wednesday, the moon is in, that's the 21st, the moon is in Leo. It does make an opposition to Saturn that day. That's the most difficult aspect. That day gives us awareness around, the moon in Leo is our heart's desire, and Saturn in Aquarius is you don't have the technology to do that, or you don't have the structure needed for that, or you don't have the network that'll support that. That's kind of the energy that we're working with. So on that day, Thursday the 22nd, the moon is in Leo. It looks like it makes an opposition to Saturn. I'm sorry, an opposition to Jupiter, sextile to Mars, and a trine to what is that? Is that the moon? And Venus makes her conjunction to Uranus. Venus makes her conjunction, and here it is right here. And so let's see, we have the moon. Where's the moon here? Okay, the moon's here, up here. Oh, the moon is conjunct Vesta. Oh, very interesting. And Vesta, I believe, is stationing, soon to station retrograde at this degree, the 641. That's interesting because that's the degree of my Pluto is at 7 degrees, I think. 7 degrees. Close to that. I think it's like 641 or something like that. Yeah, so that's powerful. And what it does is it actually, where is this here? It trines this conjunction. Vesta is trining this conjunction. I feel like there's going to be some technological breakthrough that they're going to be able to do with the science that we have and the information systems that have been built to help with this pandemic. I think they're going to utilize that. And I think that I feel like there's a turnaround. I feel like there's a turnaround in the disease, whether they figure like one thing or I don't know, but I feel like there's a something. Now, it's the 22nd of April, it's Earth Day, and Venus conjunct Uranus in the earth sign of Taurus. 11 degrees of Taurus, a woman watering flowers in her garden. The keynote here is development of the powers of the mind on which ego consciousness is based, cultivation. So this is about cultivating your mind. And I think cultivating your mind with your heart, right? Because very often, and this isn't really true of everybody, because some people need to cultivate their mind because their heart is way open, and sometimes they make more difficult decisions. But I really feel like there's a lot of judgment that goes on with people, and I think that they judge themselves for not being perfect, or not being good enough, or not being, the best version of themselves, and that it stops them from just being who they are, and we need to be ourselves, and some of us are a little more, than others. Some of us are kind of like chill. It'd be great if we could learn how to work with this, and learn to work with the magnificence of ourselves, right? To make the world a better place. The world, make the world a better place. Make the world better than it is now. Make it more in alignment with life, because that's what Earth is. Earth is life. And I don't know why we want to run away from life. Go to Mars. What? So we can't breathe? Seriously, man. It's too cold and too hot, and there's no oxygen. I'll stay down here with the trees, guys. All right, enough of that. Friday the 23rd, we have Mars ingress into Cancer. Now, Mars has been in Gemini since 6 weeks, 7 weeks now. And it's been, Mars, this is what it feels like to me. Mars, we had that six-month Mars in Aries with the retrogression go into Taurus. It goes into Taurus at the same day as the insurrection, right? And then it's like, and then so it's Mars and Taurus is slow and steady, but it's hard work moving through that energy. And then it moved into Gemini, and it's like, because Gemini is every two thing, everything, 2 seconds. And now when it moves into Cancer, I think there's going to be more of a closing down of the ears, and a real gut check. Mars in Cancer is going to be a real gut check for people, to see where they're really at. What's their level of fear? What's their level of comfort? What is their level of certainty? And then when Mars moves into Leo, where it's going to actually make a conjunction to Venus, by that time, I feel like we'll have a handle on it. And I think that it's going to be a really good thing. I think we're going to go into the fall in a really good place. Not to say that there's not going to be challenges, because there is, but we can't always just focus on the bad news. We have to see what's happening. What's the good news? That's a good question to ask somebody when you see them, or you get online with them. Hey, what's the good news today? And have them think of something good. Oh, I got that shirt I was looking at finally. It finally came in the mail. Oh, that's great. what's the good news? Because we all know the bad news. We all know the bad news. So that's going to be a good way to maybe frame Mars being in Cancer, because Mars doesn't really like being in Cancer either. It's very emotional. It can be very, it's just really deep. It's like Mars moving through water. So it takes a lot more effort for Mars, I think. But it just makes him stronger, right? It just makes him stronger. And that's us too, our Mars, our martial energy. And with Chiron and Aries, everything that Mars touches is tinged with that chironic energy, which is ultimately about healing, and healing, healing the sense that we are not divine, because we are. That was interesting. The moon, which rules Cancer. Okay, so first of all, Mars in Cancer. 1 degree of Cancer, every time something moves into Cancer. So the solstice, the summer solstice, because that's when the sun moves into Cancer. This has this energy, every summer solstice has this energy, and it's bigger than just when a sign, when the sun moves into a sign, because these are the cardinal signs. They're the like instigators, right? So it says a ship on a ship's sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. I think that's a good thing. A radical change of religion, externalized in a symbolic act, a point of no return, a reorientation. Now, the moon, which is is the ruling planet, right, of Cancer, is at 14 degrees of Virgo, and it says an aristocratic family tree, deep reliance upon ancestral roots of individual character, root power. So we have reorientation and root power. Wow, that's pretty cosmic if you think about it. And so what do you want to root your power in? What is it that you want to root your power in? Is it love? Is it hate? Is it fear? Is it wonder? Is it joy? What is it that you want to root your power in? The question of Mars ingress into Cancer. And I'm sure we're going to find out as Mars moves through Cancer. I'm sure we're going to find out. So we may see that there is a power shift. And this could be, political, of course, always, but it could be even in your own family. A shift of power, a patriarch leaving, a matriarch leaving, a new child being born, something, It's all, it's all root stuff. We are living in interesting times for sure. And we are living in very, very powerful times as well. Here is Mars ingress into Cancer. There it is right there. And where's the moon here? Oh, the moon's down here. It's actually conjunct Vesta, widely conjunct at this point, but the moon Vesta there. So 14. Oh, but the moon, right? What was that? 14 is almost exactly opposite. Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena is the goddess of social justice. Maybe something's going to come down through the state of New York. Maybe something comes down through them, or through the Southern District on Trump. I don't know. Maybe something big is coming down the pike. I think they're only going to make him go so far, and then it's going to have to. There's a break. There's got to be a break. I feel like there's a break coming. Break in his stranglehold. Trump's stranglehold on the Republicans, I mean. Okay. Saturday the 24th, Mercury makes a conjunction at 11 degrees of Taurus. A woman watering flowers in her garden. Uranus conjunct Mercury. Let's see. Venus first quarter square. Oh, this is Sunday. So let me go back for a second here. So there's a real energy, and I'm going to go to Sunday just to go a little bit further. But all of this energy, this feminine growing, I feel like I feel almost like energetically, it almost feels like a woman maybe when she's, just has a baby and the milk starts coming in, like this fullness that maybe she's never felt before, that you only feel like in that situation. But I feel energetically that fullness coming, right? Like milk, like soothing, like Mother Earth, the power of vulnerability, right? You always know how good it felt, like if you ever had like one of those busty ants, and they would take your head and they would just put it on their chest, and it was just like falling into pillows. I had an aunt like that. It was wonderful. It's like, that feels so good. That, that's coming. That's coming. All right, guys, good. That is the astrology. So, oh no, let me go one more step here. Oops, sorry. One more step. So the next day we have a first quarter square to Saturn and Venus, and a first quarter square of Mercury to Saturn. And so Saturn is structure, Venus is what we desire, and or what we need, what's essential. And so the energy with this first quarter square is for us to actually create our life and get our essential needs met through this sort of new, nurturing, feminine, open-hearted energy. I feel that is coming, if it's not already here. It's not quite in me yet, but I'll get adjusted. It'll get in me. It's coming. And then we have that very powerful full moon in the next week, right? Powerful time. So we have a lot to talk about. All right, let me stop the share, because I do want to do some cards now. Let me just see here which cards I'm going to use. I think I have to use these. These are the Tower of Transformation. Of course, what else would I use at the Siege of Transformation? I've used these cards for years. And it was one of those, I went to one of my favorite bookstores in Mashpee, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And people who might be watching this know the place I'm talking about. It was right on 28, I think. Where 130 came together. And I've been using these for years. They're pretty cool. Great artwork. So let's see what this week holds in store for us. Let's see what this week holds in store for us. I might have a goddess card too. We'll pick. I know I feel very connected to the goddesses. I'm really feeling the connection to the earth very, very deeply. When I first came to this area, I came because a friend of mine saw this thing in a place called Interface, and it was a week with Starhawk, Margot Adler, and Alicia Tish. And that was Louise Chiche wrote the book Jambalaya. It's about the Orishas, the Yoruba tradition. And she was one of, and so I hadn't been initiated, I guess, into that goddess, that pantheon, until I met Tish and we had this week together. And there is a goddess, I think it's Oshun. She's the goddess of rivers. She has a song, Oshun Baleo, He Baleo, Oshun Baleo, Lagwe Chichin Baleo. So you say that over and over and over again. That's the Oshun song, right? And so this was 1989. And she brought drummers, musicians do a lot of drumming to like bring up the energy of the Orisha, right? And they were doing we were doing a thing to Oshun. They were doing a thing at the water's edge to Oshun, and 7 vultures went overhead and just started like going around. 7. I had never seen a turkey vulture before. They're pretty big, especially when they're low, and they were low. And I was like, it was like the first time I like really felt viscerally the connection between the earth and our consciousness. And the other day, Michael or I in the backyard, kid you not, 7 vultures over our property. A blessing from Oshun. A blessing. So I've been dancing around. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. This week says taking the Hierophant off the pedestal. Spiritual leaders. Taking the Hierophant off the pedestal. There is an energy of sacredness. And connectedness to the earth. You can see there are 3 aspects here of this feminine. We have the very rooted woman at the bottom, the African woman. She's down very low. She's doing like probably like a root chakra energy. She's got her rattle. And then you have the other woman with the holding the light. And then you have the angelic figure above. And it's like, you are the bridge between heaven and earth. You are the bridge. It is your light that shines. That is the bridge between heaven and earth. And we do not need a priest or an intermediary. We don't need that. That's just, let's shine our light, because that is what is going to bridge heaven and earth. What challenges then? The sun. Interesting. The sun. The sun. I don't know. This is interesting because I almost feel like this is actually very African. I never realized just how very African these cards were. No, I've had them, oh God, maybe for 20 years. The sun, the sun. The sun is full illumination, right? And People are afraid to show their light, perhaps because they feel somebody might try to blow it out. Let's continue. At the root is the teacher of discs. Oops, sorry. There we go. We have this beautiful, oh, isn't this art beautiful? Passionate play. Passionate play. This is sensual. You see the two colors. We have the orangey color, and then we have the blue color sort of coming together. And where it comes together, there's like sparks of light. It looks like it's coming from the water, but it's sparks of light. And that's what we are. That orangey fire color and the watery watercolor is initiation. It's initiation. And we're going through an initiation. And there is so many sparks are flying. We kind of have to break free in a way. But let our light, like, peek, here I am, peek. You know, that whole let your light shine thing keeps coming up. This is the past skillful perseverance. We have been persevering, people. We have. We've been holding the space. We have. We have people out there who have next to nothing, and they go out to help people who have nothing. We have persevered. So in the sky, we have the death card, but it was upside down. Either way, upside down, right side up, grieving and letting go. Letting go, letting go, letting go. There's a lot of grief out there. There's a lot of grief. People are just tired of being tired, tired of being sick and tired. They want a better life. They want a better life. And the outcome is the Six of Wands, which is called inner seeing. Oops, where are we? Oh, there we are. Inner seeing. Sorry about the camera work, guys, but I try my best. It's beautiful, isn't it? Inner seeing. This is about creative visualization. This is about creatively visualizing what you want your life to be. What do you really want your life to be about? We're going to have the opportunity this week, guys. It's a powerful week. It's a powerful time. Powerful. Okay, I've kept you way longer than I intended to. But I think the information was good. So hopefully you enjoy this. Okay, guys, much love from the Seeds of Transformation here. I have my St. Barbara candle over there. That's from my Aries new moon that I put up. It's still over there. The altar's still up there. I just wanted to put Barbara in the picture. St. Barbara, who actually is the patron saint for the military. I didn't know that. Thank you. I can't remember who told me, but thank you. But she's also Chango of the Yoruba, god of thunder. Very, very manly, masculine energy. And very protective. So, like a soldier, right? Soldier's willing to, put himself in front of you and to protect you. But we have to let go. It's all about letting go. All right, guys, much love. Take care.